Everybody, welcome back to Cracking Packs. Trying something new today. We got the live stream going. Going to maybe kill time for a minute or two to see if anybody joins. I just posted the link to Facebook and Twitter. I don't think anybody's necessarily going to join, but that's okay. Today we're going to, it looks like there might be one person here if you want to say hi in the chat. Share the live stream with your friends. We're going to start looking at some vintage baseball cards in just a moment. More cards from that unboxing video that I did the other day. Before I get started, I'll share an artwork I received in the mail. This is from my nephew, Andrew. It's signed, made for you by Andrew at the Walden School, 2021, February 2021. Looks kind of anthropomorphic, like maybe it's a portrait of me, maybe it's a self-portrait. If you want to add your interpretations in the chat or the comments, go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I think if you ring the bell and subscribe, you'll get updates when we go live again. Like the video, make a comment, talk about the cards, talk about Cracking Packs, and don't have a beer today, just drinking water. And I'm going for about 2 minutes, so I don't want to kill too much time. I'm going to get into the cards. Before I look at some new cards, I wanted to show folks that I did repackage the cards that we looked at last time. Put them in penny sleeves, top loaders. Look a little cleaner. This Hank Aaron looks real nice. The Joe Morgan that I think is in pretty good condition. Tommy John rookie, great condition. Yastrzemski, Banks, and Aaron, and Manson. Okay, so they're all sealed up, and eventually, I think all these cards. I mean, definitely, if I do decide to sell some of them, they'll all be packaged up and sent that way. But on today's stream, we're going to look at this binder here. Big binder. Contains the vast majority of the cards from this collection. And it's mostly commons, but there are some rookies in here, some Hall of Famers. Also just some oddities that I'll talk about. I admit my camera setup here is not great, so I'm going to kind of be taking things out of the binder, holding them up, letting you see them, and then but I'm going to keep the camera focused on my face because there's no way I can really tilt it down. I could be doing this with a handheld camera, but I'm not really that efficient. So let's start taking a look. The binder is, and I'm going to do this live stream for about 20 minutes or so. If more people join, I'll keep going, but if not, I'll probably end the video there and we'll make it a two-parter. And then, like I said last video, there's one other binder or one other piece of mail I received that I'll do this in another video. This is not, there's a couple, there might be comments in here, but this is mostly high value cards, maybe even some cards that are more valuable than the ones I showed you the other day due to their condition. But in this binder, we have a bunch of loose pages here. These were not secured in the binder. And then we have a bunch of pages that are secured. Somebody might want to comment in the either in the chat or the comments. I've heard that it's not really actually good to keep your cards in these kinds of binders because the cards can get dinged. So I've heard that it's best to store if you do keep them in a binder like this, at the very least, you should store them like with the with the rings down. But very soon, I'm going to take the cards out of that binder, and especially because I want to put the cards in numerical order, so I can go for a price list and see if any of the cards of players that I'm not familiar with are actually worth money for one reason or another. You know, some of these cards, because the high-numbered cards, low-numbered cards tend to be more scarce. There's some individual cards that just, for one reason or another, don't grade very well. And if I happen to have one that I think would receive a better grade, then I may set that aside and consider getting it graded. Just to acknowledge, you may hear in the background, the bird, Soup Spoon, is, you can see him moving around a little bit. So he may accompany us in the background as we look at these cards. Okay, so let's get into it. The cards are in here kind of randomly. My mom sorted them out she did some sorting by set, which is cool. But I'm just going to go through them in the order that they're put together. So on the first page here, we have a bunch of 1973 Topps. I mentioned in my other video that most of the cards in this collection come from 1973 Topps, 1963 Topps, 1964 Topps, and 1965 Topps. I also mentioned before that these cards were given to me by my grandmother. There's a little bit of a mystery about these 1973 cards. And I guess as I'm talking, I'll just hold up a few different pages here, because these are, I believe, mostly commons. It's a little bit of a mystery to us where these 1973 cards came from. More commons. Up here in the corner, you got Greg Luzinski, Phillies, the Bull. We got these World Series cards here. Looks like there might be another person in the chat. Welcome. Feel free to say hi if you wish. Yeah, and these 1973 cards, my mom, the cards belong to my grandmother. She gave them to me. They sat in my parents' house for 20 plus years, and now they're out here with me in California, in LA. And the 1973 cards are a little bit of a mystery. The older cards, the 60s cards, we think belonged to my Uncle Frank, who, by the way, liked my last video. Thanks, Uncle Frank. These are just more commons from the 1973 set. But we're not really sure where the 1973 cards, why my grandmother acquired them. They might have belonged to my Uncle Johnny, another of my grandmom's kids. But we're really not sure. And one thing I will acknowledge about some of these 1973 cards, I'm holding on to this sheet because it actually has some other things on here. One thing I'll acknowledge about these 1973 cards is that they, most of them are, or many of them are miscut. There's a bit of an apocryphal story that maybe some of these cards came from uncut sheets, that my grandmother had a friend who worked at, we've heard different stories, Bubblegum Factory, Topps Trading Card Factory. I don't know if there was a printing press for Topps cards in the Philadelphia area, some other printing press type company. And apparently this friend of my grandmother's, my mom says her name was Mary Ann, would bring home uncut sheets of the cards. And I swear that as a kid, I saw one of these uncut sheets. But it's very unlikely that it exists anymore. Who knows? Maybe one day when we go and clean out my grandmother's basement, we'll find more cards. But for now, this is what we have. This sheet, kind of interesting. We got a bunch of 73 cards here, or 673 commons. And then up in the top, we have two, it looks like 1967 Topps commons And over here, this is a Fleer. The card looks very old. This Ray Schalk. I don't think it actually is that old. It's it's some kind of special reissue set. I actually did do a little research on that card the other day, but I forget what I found. I'll post it. Maybe I'll post it in the comments, or if somebody has a question or somebody knows where it came from, you can mention it. So yeah, that's the kind of the story behind the 1973 set. Here's a cool page. This is all rookies. Now I know some collectors don't like these rookie cards with the multiple different players. I probably agree with that. You know, it. You know, if you have your favorite player's rookie, you probably want him by himself. You know, some of them I know, like the Nolan Ryan rookie. He's on there with another pitcher. The last name's Kuzi, who was also a good player. You may prefer just to have the Nolan on his own. Now, here's another page where it's kind of a mixed bag. Well, actually, we got quite a few interesting things here. So we got two cards on this sheet with All-Stars, Steve Garvey and Thurman Munson. I'm not sure if they're in the Hall of Fame. Actually, I'm going to look it up on my phone while I hold up the sheet a little more. But they were definitely good players. I should try to learn, all the different All-Stars or, Hall of Famers in these sets. Doesn't look like Munson's in the Hall. Doesn't look like Garvey's in the Hall either. I remember there was some question at different times whether he would get in when I was younger. But you got two All-Stars there, Munson and Garvey. And then, here we go again, randomly. This is another 1967 card. It looks like, I can tell by the back, it has the same back as that other card. Bengal Belters with Norm Cash and Al Kaline. I think Kaline may be in the Hall of Fame. There should be an app just to look up. There should be an app just to look up whether baseball players in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, Kaline is in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure about Cash. I never heard his name before, so I doubt it. And we have one other interesting card here. We got a Bobby Bonds, Barry Bonds' dad, 1973 card. And then while we're on this page, I also want to highlight, some of these cards, and like I mentioned, they're miscut, and some of them are miscut quite dramatically. Like you can see this Billy Wilson here, cool Phillies uniform. And this Andrew Auguste Echebarren, if you look at the bottom, it's just totally jacked up. You can tell that somebody just cut it with the scissors, or maybe a paper cutter that got out of alignment. But then others of these 70s cards, like for instance, even the Bonds is kind of miscut. The Munson looks slightly miscut. So it's a bit of a mystery whether all of these came from an uncut sheet or just some of them did. It's hard to tell. And who knows? I don't really know about the history of the set. Maybe this was a common thing that they came from the factory with this poor of a cut this poorly, but I doubt that. Another page of commons there. For these commons, I'll just kind of go through them quickly. Another Philly here, Darrell Brandon, 1973, again with that cool uniform. This guy's kind of cool down here. He's got the shades, maybe the prescription shades, Tom Bradley, San Francisco Giants. It's funny that the stands, you can see up here, like the stands, there's like nobody up there. It looks like an amateur. It looks like a amateur league park. More comments here. Just looking at more comments from the 1973 set. And again, reminder, I'm going to give one of these, at least one of these commons away to a subscriber. I think we got at least one new subscriber based on our last video. And, if you keep subscribing, when we get to 100 subscribers, I'll give away a common card. I'll mail it to you. I'll sign it for you if you want me to. Another page here. One all-star here, Dick Allen, Philadelphia Phillies. Richie Allen, somewhat controversial player, not through no fault of his own. He dealt with a lot of racism when he played in Philadelphia. I don't think he's in the Hall, but I think there's a push to get him into the Hall. Okay, now we're going to start to I'll save that page for later. More 1973 cards. Couple all-stars on here, and then one other random 1965 rookie. So the 1965 rookie down here, Rico Petrocelli and Jerry Stevenson. Again, these 1965 cards, for one reason or another, seem to be in really good shape. And then you got a couple other all-stars here, or at least one. You got Tim McCarver here, and Del Unser. I think he might have been a good player. Maybe he was related to somebody else. I'm not sure. More 1973 commons. Okay, now here's some interesting stuff. On this page, we got the last, well, we got a few more, actually we got several more 1973 cards, but then we got one 1963 card up here in the corner, and then we have a few Hall of Famers from the 1980s junk wax era. So we got the 1973 commons up here. We got a 1963 Tom Tresh rookie. I don't know much about Tom. I don't think he's in the Hall. Then we got Steve Carlton, Hall of Fame left-hander for the Phillies, one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time. We've got another common. Then we've got a nice Fleer, Bo Jackson, looks like it's a 1989 Fleer, so not his rookie or anything, but kind of a nice card. Nolan Ryan, 1986. When I was a kid, when I first got into collecting baseball cards, one of the first things I bought was a set of 1986 Topps, which of course I then proceeded to, take out, throw around, trade. So even some of the most valuable 1986 Topps cards, which, it's kind of an oxymoron because none of those cards are worth very much money. Even some of those most valuable 1986 Topps cards, I traded away. And then Tom Seaver, Hall of Fame pitcher, mostly for the Mets. This is near the end of his career. Who knows? Could even be his last card. I don't know. And there's actually, this is what I used to do when I was a kid. I would put multiple copies in the sleeve. And for these 80s cards, that's when I was actively collecting cards. So there's a lot of doubles. But of course, as anybody out there watching who collects cards knows that, cards from that era are just worth nothing, virtually nothing. More 1973 commons. More 1973 commons with a stray. 1987 down there. I have no idea why I chose to include that. That's one cool thing that they used to do on the Topps cards. I don't know if they do that anymore. Let's see if you can see it. Like they'll include, I think it's pretty hard to see. Sorry about the quality of the video, but in the stats, they'll include both their major league and minor league stats. Looks like they even used to do that with the 1973 cards. The back of the 1973 cards, like on this card, this Larry Dierker. It mentions that he played for the Cocoa Colts. I don't know what the hell that was. The Astros, before they were called the Astros, were called the Colt 45s. Not named after the drink, but named after the gun. And he played for the Cocoa Colts. So I guess Cocoa is like some town, probably somewhere in Florida. Lawrence Dieker, born Hollywood, California, 9/22/46. Shout out to Larry or Lawrence if you're out there. And then the back, the cards, and this goes back to the old tops. I'll show it on the old tops. They have these like little cartoons. Like for Larry Dieker, it says Larry's first appearance in the big leagues was on his 18th birthday. Then it has like a little corny cartoon of Larry coming out of a cake. So these old cards are very, they're very quaint. They're very charming. Here's a sheet. More commons. Here's another couple examples of cards that are like really jacked up. The miscuts. Up here in the corner is Joe Pepitone. I don't even know if he was a good player, but he's mentioned in the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Larry loses his Joe Pepitone jersey. That's the only way that I know him. This page, more commons. It does include, and I was happy to find this. I wasn't sure because I know that some of these team cards, maybe not in 1973, but I believe in the older sets, the 60 sets, some of the team cards are have a bit of a premium associated with them. Maybe because kids threw them away, or like if it wasn't your favorite team, why would you even want that? Here's a duplicate down here to Alan Kloster's Topps 1973, number 634. So I was glad to see that some of these team cards are in here, especially in the older sets. We probably won't get to them today. Like I said, if I get to 20 minutes and we get through these pages, I'm going to probably wrap it up at the end of this when I get through the last few pages here, because I don't want to make these videos too long. So here we have, just more 1973 comments. More comments. This is kind of cool. I don't know if they do these in baseball cards anymore. I get the sense that newer baseball card sets are very star driven. I think they still make cards for the role players, the bench warmers. But I don't know if they make cards like this anymore, which are manager cards. So this card in the middle there, that's the Royals, Kansas City Royals manager card. So I guess in 1973, their manager was John Aloysius McEwen. And then you have the Brewers, it's upside down. And it also has, it's kind of funny, it even has the coaches on there. So I don't know if that's something they do with the newer sets anymore, but I actually like those. Especially, I'll show some of them in a future video from the 1960 sets. I just think they're funny. Like some of these guys, they just kind of look like some of these old managers. It's like funny that these guys were considered athletes or were involved in athletics because they look like. I guess it's like they dad bod. So just a few more comments. Some random down here in the bottom. Yes, that is a Cy Young card, but obviously it's not from when Cy Young was playing in the, I don't know when his career, 1890 to 1911. It's not from his playing days. These cards, I'm looking at the back here. It's labeled Baseball Legends. It was created by a company called Kramer Sports Promotions. I did a little bit of research about the cards online yesterday. They were, they're not really worth, they're worth a little bit, I guess. Maybe they're worth a little more than like a regular baseball card from that time. But they're not really collectible. They were mass produced. But they're kind of cool to have. Cy Young, Hank Greenberg. I think I had more of these back in the day, but I don't know where they went. And then down in the corner there, yeah, that's an all-star. Actually, I'm not sure. I thought it was Reggie Jackson, but I'm not sure if it is. I'll have to find out more about that. But Game 1, 1974 World Series. And that's a 1974 card. Random. I don't, that's the only 1974 card in the set. It's in really bad condition, so even if it could be worth money, it's probably not worth much. And then this is the thing about these, this is the thing about these pages that my mom sent me, then some of them will be really random. So the reason I was thinking Reggie Jackson is because he's on this page. There's his 1973 Topps card. I remember even as a kid, I thought this picture was really funny. I'm pretty sure Jackson was kind of disliked. I think he was disliked more when he went to the Yankees, but I always think they might have been like trolling him with this picture because it's very unflattering. And then you've got another random 1967 card up here. I mean, it almost looks like maybe, my uncle or my grandmom or somebody just bought one pack of 1967 cards and they're kind of mixed in here. Two cards here from 1964. The only other 1964 card we've seen is that Tommy John rookie. Includes Duke Snider, who I think is in the Hall of Fame. Louis Tiant might be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure. Another one of these special cards, Tribe Thumpers. Rocky Colavito, Leon Wagner. Don't think either of them is in the Hall. And then there is one Hall of Famer here. And now this card is really badly miscut. You can see. So it's obviously got Yastrzemski on there. Hall of Famer. Played most of his career with the Red Sox. And a guy named Chuck Schilling, who I don't think there's a relation there to Curt Schilling. There might be. I guess I'm going to look that up after the video's over. But you see that card is just totally jacked in terms of the cut. But I'm almost positive this is probably a factory error because none of the other cards that I have from this set are miscut as badly as that. Now, obviously, this channel, Kraken Packs, we're all about Magic the Gathering here. That's our main content. And for Magic the Gathering, miscuts like that can sometimes carry a premium. I get the sense that baseball card collectors don't feel the same way. But if I'm wrong about that, let me know. If you are a baseball card collector who collects errors, comment or send me a message, and I can hook you up with that card maybe. But yeah, so this is that's basically where I'm going to stop today. We still have plenty more pages to go through in this binder, and like I said, it's mostly commons, but there's other sets that we haven't looked at yet, and there are some rookies in here, Hall of Famers. Other kind of interesting cards, like those manager cards I mentioned that I think are kind of cool, funny looking. But that's mostly it for today. Mostly these 1973 Topps cards and some other kind of random cards in there. Probably none of these are worth very much money, but what I might do with some of the some of the commons or some of the all-stars or the Hall of Famers, for which I have these more junky cards, I may end up bundling them together because I know that I'm almost positive I have a 1973 Steve Carlton, so I'll do a deal on it. 1986, 1987, 1973 Steve Carlton. I know Steve Carlton, I'm pretty sure he's gotten in trouble for, I think, some anti-Semitic comments. I don't know if he's been real great with wives and ex-wives, allegedly. But I'm sure he still has fans, and he's in the Hall of Fame, at least for now. So anyway, that's our episode for today. We're almost at a half hour. For the couple people that might be watching on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. And we will be back hopefully tomorrow, maybe sooner, with more vintage baseball card content here on Kraken Packs. So until next time, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, and always remember to crack packs. Take it easy, folks.